was kind of wild. I'm not really sure what just happened there. That was odd. I logged into YouTube and for some reason my YouTube account was just not logged into. I don't know. That was very odd. Ward Kids, what's up? Connor, what's up? How the fuck are we, my man? Been a few days. Connor, how are you feeling? Ward Kids, what's up? Um, First two here. Where the heck are our mods? I don't know what happened, Connor. I reset my iPhone on, I don't know why I said iPhone. I could have just said phone. It didn't really matter. When I reset my phone last week, everything got fucked up, and I think that's what happened with the mods, and I don't know why it's like that, but I haven't been able to fix it. And honestly, I kind of like not having the mods just because I feel like more people come in here. So I think I'm going to stick to this for now. I'm not even going to try to fix it. I feel great. I literally said Ohio State would beat Texas. You did. Now, Connor, can we go into that real quick? Like, I was talking about it last night. We were talking Ohio State, Texas last night. And I got a lot of flack from some people about how I felt about Arch Manning and how I felt like he had no... he really didn't look very good out there. I don't think Ohio State looked very good either. I think Ohio State played a good enough game. I think they're a team, like, they'll have their growing pains this year. Obviously, new quarterback. I think Matt Patricia's a fucking defensive wizard, obviously. I think there's a great coaching staff there at Ohio State. Honestly, after that game, I felt like that was Texas's game. I really felt like I really did feel like Texas with a competent quarterback wins that football game. I felt like Texas was the better football team, and Arch Manning made a couple bad decisions that cost them a game. And if that's like, if I agree to disagree on that, if Arch wasn't a Manning, he would be forgotten. If Arch wasn't a Manning, people wouldn't be talking about him, 100%. Bryce Underwood. Good. I don't know why your message popped up over here and it didn't pop up on my stream. What is it? Does that say number one? Hold on. Good. I don't know why your whatever you just said didn't pop up on my stream. But it popped up on like the hold on. I'm trying to extend it so I could see what it says. No, never mind. Let me just look here. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I it should have popped up on both anyway. Why isn't the multi-stream? Hold on. It doesn't matter. You can say it wherever. I could go to both anyway. But Bryce Underwood, 2028 Jet. Who knows? I mean, Bryce Underwood looked great, but he didn't really play anybody. So that's the story there. But anyway, with Arch Manning, like I said, a lot of criticism I had about him were all that, like, it seemed like he was doing things that an unprepared quarterback would do. A guy who's been there for 2 years, a guy who knows the offense like it's the back of his hand, or at least should. You know, I felt like it was just a very underwhelming performance. When's the new stream schedule? Yeah, New Mexico State is a powerhouse. What do you mean? True. New Mexico State is a powerhouse. You absolutely are right there. Mets? Fuck yeah. Threw on my Mets fucking jersey just because, I don't know. Feeling a little Labor Day baseball. But like I said, Arch Manning, a lot of bad reads, a lot of like very indecisiveness, a lot of like just not seeing the defense. That's something, a kid with that much hype, a kid who, you know, I get it. He was hyped up. He was a starting quarterback when he was in 8th grade. It's a huge deal. He's a Manning. I get it. I was not very impressed with the mental side of him. My boy Donovan Mitchell is a huge Met fan. Donovan Mitchell is a huge Met fan. He's a massive Met fan. I think that has something to do with his dad working in the organization. I think his dad works for the Mets, which is pretty cool. So yeah, Donovan Mitchell, he's at a lot of Met games. So when he's in New York, he goes to games because he's from, I think he's from like a little bit upstate, like a little bit past Westchester County, if I'm correct. I still think one game won't tell the whole story. Got to let the season progress. Listen, I think Arch Manning will bounce back. I think he's going to have an okay year. It's just, Derek, it's things like, if it was just a couple bad throws in the fourth quarter, I'd be like, all right, the kid was nervous. It's not a big deal. I saw things with Arch Manning that I was like very unimpressed with. There were a couple read options that I saw where he completely made the wrong read on the play. There was a one play where he threw a bubble screen to like the short side of the field where there was more defenders over there. It's like very very simple things that I felt like Arch Manning could have done better, and I was just not a fan. Jeremy Lin retired, one of the greatest careers. Nick should retire his number for the vibes. Definitely should not retire his number. No. But that 2 week stretch of Linsanity was one of the craziest times of ever being a Nick fan. Like, I'm not like Linsanity was absolute mayhem. It was incredible what was going on. Like that week and a half or whatever, 2 weeks of Linsanity was absolutely insane. The things I would do to go back and realize and relive that, like probably the most exciting time, even like mostly because I was in high school, and at the time, when you're in high school, sports are so they encapsulate you so much. Who else are the Knicks going to retire? I mean, they're not going to retire a guy that had a good 2 weeks for them. That would be insane. That would be like your I don't know. That would be like the Lakers. That would be like if the Lakers retired like Talon Horton Tucker's number. Bill Belichick debut for UNC. Yes, Bill Belichick debuts tonight for the North Carolina Tar Heels. It's still very weird to me seeing him on a college sideline. He could have just ran off in the horizon, retired, been the greatest coach of all time. Just a very odd situation, but again, it's not my place. I get he wants to get back into coaching. Makes sense. Good for him. Yes, but the Minnesota Wild retired the fans, Lynn might as well. He's a cultural icon. Yeah, I don't know. It was a good 2 week stretch. Leangelo, I don't know shit about football. It doesn't matter. Never compare Jeremy Lin to THT again. Why not? In fact, I would say the other way around, Goated. I mean, THT was like a massive piece in a team that won a title for the Lakers. Like, he had a great 2 week stretch. I don't think that's that crazy. Yes, Jeremy Lin was a different level because it happened in New York. He was the best player on the Knicks for about 2 weeks. I understand that. He's not getting his number retired. It was a great time, and trust me, there are a few moments, few minor moments in New York sports history that I would want to go back to more than I'd want to go back to the Jeremy Lin Linsanity run. It was fucking incredible. It was absolutely insane how those 2 weeks he encapsulated this. He captured the attention of New York City. He captured the attention of the world, Jeremy Lin. For that 2 weeks, there was not a bigger athlete on planet Earth than Jeremy Lin. It was absolutely absurd what happened those couple weeks of Linsanity. By the way, THT played like 2 games in that playoff run. He was a rookie. Yeah, but I mean, Jeremy Lin was a rookie too. He played like a 2 week stretch where he was unbelievable and then kind of fell apart. THT was decent at one point with the Lakers, and the next season he sucked. Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Lin had a good week with the Knicks, and then the next season he was on the Houston Rockets. That's just the way I'm looking at it. Nathan, what's up? How are we? Oh, man. I go back to the doctor tomorrow. Hopefully that ends this streak of me being here and me being in this room and me going back to a normal life. We'll see. Play it by ear. Jeremy Lin has more rings than John Stockton and all those guys combined. Yeah, Leangelo, I don't put rings into any sort of conversation. I think when you start ring counting people, it takes away from any sort of debate. But I get what you're saying. Your boy Kristaps Porzingis looking healthy out there. Does he? I know. I was gonna say, Leangelo, that's like one of my biggest pet peeves, and I think you knew that. I was gonna say, where are we going here? That's like when people start going into ring discussions, that happens in every sport too, and it's like the most annoying shit ever. When it's especially I'm all for debating Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. I think it's a great debate. I think there's both sides have their claim to whatever. But what I can't stand is people when you argue with them about the situation, and all they'll tell you is, well, Jordan won more rings. Well, Jordan won more rings. it doesn't tell the whole story. Like, if you tell me, like, Michael Jordan did this and this, and Michael Jordan did this and this, that's a whole nother thing. In team sports like that, you cannot make a case for something with just the idea that they've won titles, because there's so many other factors that go into it. The players around them, the players they were playing against. There's so many things that you could break down. Pretty sure because you hated him on the Celtics, now in the Hawks. Yeah, I mean, Porzingis was a Knick for a little bit, and he had a great run. He was another, like, little insanity run type thing. LeBron contributed 66,000 points in his career. Jordan contributed 35,000. There you go. That's an argument you can make. That's absolutely... Do I feel like a caged animal? I kind of do. It's been fucking miserable. All I want to do is be able to, like, go to the gym, go to like 1-6 and didn't lose once. That, Derek, if that's your first argument, then that's not a good enough argument for me. Like, yeah, great. He won 6 and didn't lose once. Do we want to talk about the other years where he didn't make it the finals at all? Like how come LeBron gets, like, decimated for going to the finals all the time, always being in the finals, being a mainstay? In fact, like, they pretty much polished out, like, a spot for him in the finals every single year. Did you say that stat? Yeah, 66,000 points versus 35 in his career. Yeah. I mean, and then people will go, well, LeBron James played longer. That shows how good he was, how good he is. Like, that shouldn't be a detriment to LeBron James. LeBron better hold every record considering he's been in the league from 18 to 45. That just says how much more, like, that says so much more about him, how great he is, that, like, he's been in the league since he was 18, and he's 45 now, or whatever, like, whatever he is. He's not actually 45, whatever he is. That says a lot more about how unbelievable LeBron James is. That's just my opinion. But people that go into the debate, like what Derek said, if that's what the argument you're standing on, there's no case. LeBron didn't play twice as long as Jordan, though, but he has twice as much points. That's true. Longevity and some load management for him. I mean, Michael Jordan took 2 years off. Like, Bron would have played for 30 years to be for that to be a longevity stat. Well, also, Derek, you want to talk about load management. LeBron also, in the postseason every single year, playing all those extra games, they end up adding up anyway. Going to the finals every year, playing all these series, playing all these extra games in the postseason. That doesn't really add up. I mean, I'm saying it does add up, but it doesn't. The whole load management thing is ridiculous. Especially, Derek, you're a Laker fan. I don't understand why you hate LeBron so much. Like, that's kind of the cultural thing. Like, I think people love Jordan so much that they're so willing to, like, just tarnish LeBron. Like, does that make sense? People want to... Every time you see, like, an argument for why, like, somebody... And even when people try to make Kobe Bryant better than LeBron James. Kobe Bryant, great basketball player. Great all-time player. Not in the conversation with LeBron James in terms of who's a better player all time. It's always the most obscure, fucking skewed stats that you'll be like, well, Kobe had more points when he was like 23 to 25 than LeBron James did. Has LeBron played 82 postseason games? I'm sure he has. I'm sure he's played more than that. Let me see how many postseason games LeBron James has played in his career. He has played, bro, more than that. LeBron James has played 292 postseason games. That's like, dude, do you have any idea how insane that is? I don't hate LeBron, but it's the dumb Bron sexuals overdo it massively. I'll tell you, Derek, I think that's a very similar thing to, like, the political discussion. Trust me, I'm not one of those Bron sexual people. I just look at it for what it is. I'm not somebody who's going to sit here and, like, but people who hate LeBron James are worse than the people that support him. Like, it's not even close. The people that are so, like, hell-bent on bringing LeBron James down are to me way, way dumber than the so-called Bron sexuals. I get it, there's people that overdo the LeBron James stuff, but the people who go so far out of their way to bring him down just don't like basketball enough to me. I think you're somebody who does not appreciate the game of basketball and probably don't appreciate what you're watching in a guy like LeBron James. I agree, goated. Jordan Glazers are 10 times worse. Like that's the thing. You're completely right, Leangelo. What you're saying right there is that people who are so high on Michael Jordan and are so willing to bring down LeBron James don't even have enough respect for him to put him at number two. Like at least like Derek, I feel like when I have the arguments with you, the Jets are going to lose to the Steelers. No, they are not. The Jets are going to smoke the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 1. But if that makes sense, like people are so trying to bring down LeBron James that they're like you tell a lot about yourself when you don't have LeBron James at least at number two, in my opinion. Like if LeBron James isn't your number one or number two, and if same thing with Michael Jordan, if he's not your number one or number two, I don't think you know what you're watching. I genuinely I don't think your opinion on basketball makes any sense, and I think it's like a personal beef. Like I say the same thing about people that say Michael Jordan is like. People do the same thing with Jordan. They're like he's like the third or fourth best. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Michael Jordan's the second best player the second best player ever. Aaron Rodgers throws 3 TDs versus the Jets. People are forgetting it's the Justin Fields revenge game as well. What is your opinion on the AFC East this year? That's a good question. Aaron, what's up? My opinion on the AFC East. It's probably going to be the Bills winning the East, and then I think anything could happen after that. I think you could pretty much order those 3 teams afterwards however you want to order them, and I don't think you'd be wrong to think that. I don't think there's going to be a second AFC East team in the postseason. I think the Jets, the Patriots, and the Dolphins are all very unknowns. I think there are 3 teams that have talent in certain spots and 3 teams that have a lot of holes. Maybe one of them could take advantage of, playing the other 2 and maybe win a couple games. But personally, I don't like the Dolphins very much this year. I don't think the Dolphins are very good. I think the Patriots are massively overhyped. I think the Jets have their issues too. Boo, Knicks, damn. Bama sucks, damn. We're fucking going into it. Bama, huh? I mean, Bama, I don't know if Bama sucks as much as I think people were underestimating. Am I fucking frozen? Hold on. Nash, what up? Jocelyn, what up? Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. I don't agree. I think the Dolphins are worse than the Jets. I think the Jets are going to surprise people. I think the Jets are... Hold on. Bama was Nick Saban. Yeah. I mean, the second Nick Saban left, the Bama program died. Pretty much. But I also think Florida State's a better team than people were probably aware of. Just looking at Florida State, like Thomas Castellanos, very good quarterback. He was a very good quarterback at Boston College. LMAO, Jets are ass. CC, who do you root for? Let's hear this. Happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day, Mr. Brew Crew. What's up? How are we? Saban is the greatest college coach of all time, 100%. Bama was Nick Saban. The 2010s Bama teams, you're right. There was a fear that was struck in you. You ever hear Manti Te'o talking about playing against Alabama in that national championship? He literally said that, like, Notre Dame was undefeated that year. They were a dominant team. Notre Dame was very good. They walked onto that field that day, that Rose Bowl field, and felt like they were completely overmatched. They were scared to death walking out on that field. Bills? Oh, shit. All right, fair enough. Justin Fields, what's his record this year as the Jets quarterback? I'm going to be modest, 11-6. If I like men, but I'm transgender, does that make me gay? I think that puts you into the community. I think it does, but I don't know. I don't know how to get technical with that, Nathan. I don't think it matters either. Do whatever you want. You don't have to put a dude. I always love when these questions pop in. And you know what? I read everything except for like when people try to get me to say crazy shit. I'm thinking 11-6. Fair enough. Yeah. When I saw Bills, I'm like, all right, what am I gonna say? Like I could see Josh Allen's going to ruin my life as much as Tom Brady did, but he's probably not going to win any Super Bowls. My Louisville Cardinals scored 51 yesterday. Who did Louisville play yesterday? And they played yesterday or 2 days ago. I'm so lost on like who played who in week 1, like other than like the massive games. But yeah, what do you call it? I think Florida State was a better team. Oh, Eastern Kentucky, nice. I think Florida State was a better team than people probably knew coming in. And I think Alabama ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw. Tommy Castellanos, very good quarterback. He was great at Boston College. I think Florida State's not going to be terrible this year. I think people are going to realize that longer, that this game wasn't that big of a deal for Bama to lose, if that makes sense. My hot take, the Giants are going to be decent this year. Their defense with Burns, Lawrence, and Carter is really good. Wilson is serviceable. Then Dart might be decent. I think the Giants are going to win a couple games early, and then they're going to fall off the planet. Their offense is very okay. Their offensive line isn't very good. I think that's going to be the Giants' biggest issue, but their defense is fantastic. Like, their defense is a force to be reckoned with. Pair that with the Cowboys putting on their season. Yeah. I mean, yeah, not to mention the Cowboys are just, the Cowboys are finishing fourth in that division, I think. I also don't think the Commanders are going to be I think the Commanders had a little insanity run last year. Do I think they'll be good? Yeah, I think they'll be okay. But their O-line got better. It's still pretty bad. I think the Jets are going to lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's fair. People are forgetting it's the Justin Fields revenge game as well. Since 2007, in Alabama games are favored by at least 14. Nick Saban 131-2. Kalen DeBoer 4-4. Yeah, I mean, you know what I saw earlier, which is crazy. Kalen DeBoer, somebody was saying that Michael Penix basically is the reason Kalen DeBoer is coaching Alabama now, and when you look at it, it's true. But I still think Kalen DeBoer isn't a bad head coach. He's just not Nick Saban. It's kind of like when one of the greatest of all, whenever LeBron James ends up retiring, or hold on, when Greg Popovich retires, whoever takes over the Spurs job, people are going to compare him to Greg Popovich. It's a tough job to take over from a guy like Nick Saban, where you're never going to be Nick Saban. It's never going to happen. It doesn't work like that. The Bama program has taken a step back. Nick Saban's the greatest college coach ever. His ability, his ability to get good recruits and make the most of them. I think the biggest mistake Alabama ever made was the day Kirby Smart left for Georgia. Bama should have given him a blank check and just fired Nick Saban. Genuinely. I know people would have been upset about it, but for the good of the future, Kirby Smart was the best available coach in the country to replace a guy like Nick Saban. Letting Kirby Smart leave your program and stay within the SEC, to me, was one of the worst things Alabama ever did. Because now, personally, I think Kirby Smart is one of, if not the best coach in college football right now. I don't know if there's a better coach all around than him. That's just me. The game I want to see the most is Week 13 Bears. Or are they playing Week 13? Or is it, if I'm transgender and like women, then I'm gay? I think if you're transgender, you're technically in that community, but I don't know how that works. JKS is going to be a top pick in a couple of years. Probably. Got my little pre-workout. Yeah, this new pre-workout, it's got a really strong fucking flavor. Gonna hit a little leg workout in a little bit. Yeah, I think he's trolling, but I like to read the troll comments. I'm all for it. I think sometimes you guys give me a little bit of a boost, but yeah. So looking at everything that I looked at from week 1 of college football, there's a bunch of takeaways. I'm probably gonna maybe I'll make a video on that. Maybe I will make maybe let's do a video on it. I don't know. Let me see. Can I? I gotta see. JKS is gonna be a top pick. Bro doesn't know who JKS is. I said yeah because I was trying to think of where JKS. Wait, I don't know who JKS is. Oh fuck! Wait, I don't know how to say his name. That's the guy. That's the guy from Cal. I forgot you told me you're a Cal fan the other day, Goated. Fuck. I couldn't think of who. I didn't know who that was. But yes. That's the Cal quarterback. What the fuck is wrong with me? A-Rod's last game. I see. Fuck, I forgot. Yeah, JKS is the... I mean, dude, Goated. That was one of my big takeaways from week 1. People should not sleep on the Cal Bears. They are such a good football team. I don't... Oregon State, they showed up. They had a home game, night 1. True freshman quarterback comes into Corvallis, Oregon, and just dominates them. I love to hear what Alf has to say about that. Yeah, Goated. I was like, who the fuck is JKS? And I was like, holy shit. I forgot you told me you're a Cal guy. I'd love to hear what Alf has to say about that because I'm pretty sure he's a big Oregon State guy. I felt like going into that game, Oregon State, it was kind of a mismatch. I wasn't understanding why Cal was even, close to being in the conversation that in that game based on the spread. But I understand now. Cal's defense is legit. Oregon State is not a bad team. Like, Oregon State is not a bad football team at all. Malik Murphy's a very solid quarterback. Cal has a very good defense. Their offense is phenomenal behind JKS. JKS is going to be a stud. Hell, I think by the end of the year, you're going to hear him in Heisman talk. He's that good. And Cal does not play anybody this year. The toughest game they play all year is the last game of the season against SMU. And they play that game at home. It's a lot of traveling for Cal. That's probably going to be their toughest competition is the travel schedule. Other than that, I think the Cal Bears are going to be in the conversation for the college football playoff at the end of the year. They are that good. To me, they were the most surprising team of week one, and they blew me out of the water. I think them and Florida State, both in the ACC, were two teams that shocked me. I think Miami was very good. The ACC is going to be a good conference. Miami obviously looked good. Florida State looked really good. And I truly think that people are going to look at that like Alabama screwed up. I think Florida State is a better team than people thought coming into this year. Gato Olave is absolutely insane. Dude, the fucking Cal defense, their secondary is so good, dude. Cal scheduled too weak for them to be in the playoffs, but it's possible. Not true, Derek, because, what do you call it? Indiana had the same thing last year. Indiana's schedule was awful, and they got into the playoff. I think Cal's going to be in the same boat. If Cal plays for the ACC title undefeated, I don't think you could take them out of the college football playoff. The playoff is so extended now that I don't think that really matters as much, Derek. But I messed up my cheese sauce. Too much milk. What should I do? Add more cheese. Obviously. Like Indiana last year. They lost to Ohio State on the road, and they didn't get punished for it. They still made the college football playoff. I don't think the schedule being weak anymore matters. Cal, if they just win out, they win all their games, I think they're in the college football playoff. Especially if they beat a team like SMU the last week. I also think Oregon State's going to win a couple games that are going to make the Cal beating them in Corvallis look a lot better. I don't think Oregon State's a bad football team. I think Cal is just very good. Like, Cal overwhelmed them. It was unbelievable how good their defense was. I'm officially like a Cal Bears guy. I have been adding cheese. Well, you're not adding enough cheese there, Aaron. But guys, I'm gonna hop off for a little bit. Just got to do a couple things around the house. I'll be back in a little while. We'll be live to talk college football before the game.